What I would like to do today is to focus on one of the movement that we have done for a while, but since actually you are here for the first time, I'm just going to explain a little bit of this practice. This practice, although we do various kinds of movement, but there are really two elements that are very central. I don't want to use the word important, but these are two things that you want to focus on. One is natural breathing. And this natural breathing, to put it simply, is diaphragmatic breathing and not using the chest. The main reason that I encourage this natural breathing or diaphragmatic breathing is because it sends a signal to our nervous system to relax. And this is the state of our physiology where the body begins to rejuvenate, to heal, and also our internal functions are working in a much better way. Compared to when the nervous system is in a fight and flight mode. Natural breathing is a state where a person who is very, very relaxed. And for example, if you think of yourself sitting on a chair, reading a book, and then your breathing will be actually very quiet. There's very little movement that can be observed, and then there's also very little what you can hear. So there are a few things you can establish this natural breathing. One thing is to relax the abdomen, because when the diaphragm is moving downwards, and if the abdomen is held too tight. And often, when abdomen is held too tight, it's because of stress. And then the diaphragm is not able to move downwards, and instead this breathing starts to occur in the chest region. And the chest region, actually, especially if we talk about the spine, the thoracic spine is where the sympathetic nervous system is located. So when you begin to breathe from the chest, first of all, you breathe more than you usually do, which is cause so-called hyperventilation, and this will cause the heart to beat faster, and then your blood pressure will go up. And this is really not a good thing that to do for no particular reason. So this is inhalation, that what you want to pay attention to is allow your abdomen, your belly to relax. And second is to also relax the pelvic floor, which is the perineum, the urethra, the anus muscles. Because those muscles, those areas, if they are tense, they usually tense up the whole abdominal region. And then the result is more or less the same. So and also tensing the pelvic floor is also a sign of stress. So you want to relax the pelvic floor. And the way you relax the pelvic floor is by feeling that as if you are urinating. So this is just a way for you to approach this idea. What does it mean to relax the pelvic floor? And Mula Bandha, the tensing of the pelvic floor, is in most cases, even in traditional yoga practice, is not always needed. And we need to consider the people who practice yoga in the past in India. They were mostly ascetic, which means they're single for their whole life. And there is a part of the reason to hold Mula Bandha is also to reduce the sexual desire, so to speak. So this is really not what most people in our modern day want. So it's really important to appreciate that. So this is inhalation. And now there's exhalation. The exhalation, what you want to do is simply to passively drop the chest. So this is my inhalation. And this is my exhalation. So what I didn't do during my exhalation is that I don't push my tummy in to force the air out. Because when you force the air out, you are actually using the muscles that are opposed to the diaphragm, which if you constantly hold your forced exhalation muscles, you are going to inhibit the diaphragm. So it's very important that when you inhale, you use the diaphragm, which means you allow the belly to relax so the diaphragm can move freely. And then when you exhale, you simply just drop the chest. All right? So this is about natural breathing. And then a second element of this practice is trunk movement. We want to encourage the movement in the trunk because the trunk is all our organs, our vital organs, and also most of our system, except the head, most of our systems are located in the trunk. In terms of movement, we are really talking about to move the spine. And unfortunately, spine is the stiffest part of our body in modern people. It has 24 movable joints, but for most people, the spine moves in one piece, like a stick. So I want to begin with the practice with just to establish the natural breathing. So I'm using a way of teaching is that after I finish all this explanation, we're going to do a practice for about 25 to 30 minutes. And I will not speak. I will just simply use this clicking sound to indicate a change of movement. So every time when you click here, and you know something is happening, so pay attention to what I do. And so the whole practice in the second half is purely visual, and plus this clicking sound. So what I would do is I will establish a natural breathing, and then by using the clicking, and so one click is inhalation, and two click is for exhalation. So I'm also going to use my hand to indicate the movement of my belly. So I'm going to put my hand in front of my belly. I will do this. If you're really breathing naturally, this movement is very little. But however, I have to show it, so just to give you, to let you know what I'm doing. But actually, if you really breathe naturally, the movement is very little. So every time when you hear one click, this means to allow the belly to relax and allow the belly to expand. And then when you exhale, the belly, because the diaphragm moves upwards, the pressure is taken away, so the belly is returned to its normal position, right? Because the belly is full of organs. So the pressure is pushing down, it has to expand. And actually, now I'm talking about this, you can also consider this expansion actually happens not only in the front, also in your lower back, also on the side of your lower trunk, also on the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor is sometimes refers to as pelvic diaphragm. And this pelvic diaphragm is actually moving in the same manner as our diaphragm. So as we inhale, the diaphragm moves down, the pelvic floor also push downwards, expand, right? So just when you have a moment, when you can try to feel that this expansion is not just on the belly, but on all sides of the lower trunk. So And then after this, after we establish this natural breathing, I'm going to use this natural breathing to create movement. So this inhalation creates an expansion in the front of the body, and or shortening of the back of the body, or potentially. And then exhalation creating the shortening of the front and expansion of the back. So this we have a first pair of spinal movement, which is spinal extension and spinal flexion. So I'm just show it very quickly. This is my natural breathing. Now I begin to create movement. Now, what you want to do with the spine is that you want to begin to treat it as a multi-joint structure. So it will be unreasonable to ask you to move the spine one vertebrae at a time, and then to do it with 20, 23, 24 click. I can probably do that. I can probably do up to maybe 18. But I mean, to do it 24, it's really, really hard. It takes years of practice to create such a muscular sensitivity. So I'm only going to ask you to divide the spine into 3 sections. And this I don't consider the neck. So the first section is the lower back. So correspond to the navel. So first is here. The second section is the lower rib cage. It's where it's a junction of thoracic and lumbar spine. And then the third region is basically the chest, or the upper back, or the shoulder blade. So I have, and then belly, rib cage, and then chest. This will be pretty hard at the beginning to move this way, but we need to have a start. And then the reason we want to be able to move the spine is that it creates high and low pressures in the trunk, which will push the blood flow and energy into different area. Just like when I squeeze a sponge, I'm going to squeeze everything out of the sponge, and the water will flow to wherever it can go. And this wherever it can go means the area that is not tensed, the area that is relaxed. So it's very important when we create movement, you want to try to do this movement in the most relaxed way. This way you can create really improve the blood or the energy circulation. So, and then after this, we're going to add this movement into a simple twist. Just twist the body to the right and left. So we'll be doing this. I'm going to turn to the right. Left. So when we're doing this, we are creating actually two pairs of spinal movement. One is spinal flexion, one is extension, and also the twisting. So twisting to the right and twisting to the left. At some point, these movements are combined. So there, where you're twisting, you begin to bend the spine down, and then continue to twist to the other side. Is combined with spinal extension. Here I have flexion, twisting, extension, twist, flexion. So it's a combination of spinal movement. And this eventually will lead to a very natural movement, which is a figure 8. This is when you shift your weight from right to left, and you naturally create a figure 8 movement, because this is very unnatural. You go to the right and left. It's like driving a car, going forward, going backward, going forward, going backward. Energy-wise, it's not efficient. But as you begin to shift the weight to one side of your body, and then you twist the body at the same time, after that, and then it make it into a figure 8. If you imagine my navel is actually drawing a horizontal figure 8, right? And this is basically coming from this movement. And very soon you will see that this movement happen. And then we're gonna base on this movement, and then to develop into a few other things. And we're also going to see how this spinal foreband and backbend create a natural shoulder movement. And this eventually also becomes a figure 8. So it will be too much to actually explain everything in one class, but I really believe that a part of our learning, which is perhaps not so encouraged in our modern day, is simply using the right brain to just follow the movement. This is where actually children will learn movement. They don't need any verbal instruction. They see and then they just do. So there's a certain trust that I feel that we simply can just learn the movement without actually knowing all the details about it. Just simply learn it, allow the body to do the job. This way we divide the practice into 2 parts. This part I'm engaging most of your left brain, which is logic, intellectual. And then later we're just gonna play a music. I'm not gonna speak. We're just gonna do a movement, and then you just watch, and then just copy. And remember a couple of things. One is, don't go to the places where your body does not like. If there is a discomfort, don't do it. Reduce the intensity. If it doesn't work, just skip it. Just skip it, or to just do very little, right? And this reason is also very simple. If our body begins to feel discomfort, it's gonna treat it as some kind of crisis. So it's gonna trigger our sympathetic nervous system, and we're gonna turn into a fight and flight, and then our breath and everything, our whole physiology is going to change according to that mode, which is really what we don't want. So don't do anything your body does not like, and don't overstretch, don't overtense, don't overbreathe, because when you overbreathe, you also send the wrong signal to the nervous system, and it's going to cause you to on the cellular levels, on the level of tissues, they're actually going to receive even less oxygen. This is something that most people actually don't know, that the more you breathe, the less oxygen you get, because the hemoglobin in our blood will not release the oxygen unless there is enough CO2 in the environment. So the extra oxygen from hyperventilation will stay in the blood and then just go out. It will not get released. This is from Boer effect, a very important but very unknown for most people, a science that is over 100 years old.
you.